Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel Handmaid of God. My name is Sarah, and in today's video I wanted to talk about some really extraordinary saints. These saints, they had some really amazing powers, and the thing is, these powers are not like from them. They do not have any superpower, but it is all through the grace of God. God gives them these powers so that they are able to sit to bring people closer to God. So let's get quickly started. The first saint is Saint Joseph. He had the amazing ability to fly, not just in private places or when he was alone, but also during mass when he was preaching, and also once in front of a very large crowd. He flew in the middle of a street. So just thinking about Jesus and the Blessed Mother Mary, he would go into ecstasy, and that made him levitate. So the next saint is Saint Christina the Astonishing. Saint Christina lived in the 12th and the 13th century, and she basically was recorded to be indestructible. So Saint Christina, when she was very young, she suffered a lot of seizures. She was very ill and she died. So she was taken, her body was wrapped, and she was ready for her burial and funeral. And in the middle of the funeral, she just got up with full energy, praising God to everyone's astonishment, and that's where she gets her name, the Astonishing. And she later on told the people around her and her friends and family, she told that she saw heaven, hell and purgatory, and the only reason she came back was to relieve souls from purgatory, and also to convert sinners on earth. And Saint Christina, she did some very intense things. She would just go swimming in the icy river and stayed there for days and weeks, and nothing happened to her. And she once tripped and fell into a furnace and came out without burns. And in spite of all these events, she lived up to be 74 years old. And next we have Saint Katherine of Alexandria. Saint Katherine was a princess in Egypt in the 3rd century, and she is again amazing. So she, though was born and brought up a pagan, Mother Mary appeared to her, and then later on she converted to Christianity. So she once got into an argument with the Roman emperor and asked him to stop persecuting the Christians. And so what the Roman emperor did was he brought his best philosophers. Surprisingly, Saint Catherine, she won the debate, and this infuriated the emperor, and he had her imprisoned. And there again she converted 200 people to Christianity, and so he ordered her to be killed. And then so how she was supposed to be killed is she had this, how it is done in the olden days. They have like a wheel, and then that wheel sort of like beheads person, or that's what they used to kill people then. So when this wheel kept spinning and it kept coming next to her, she just touched the wheel and the wheel shattered into pieces. And a lot of people who saw this immediately were converted there, and they all glorified God. Next we have Saint Vincent Ferrer. So Saint Vincent Ferrer, he is known for so many amazing things, his preaching, his missionary work, etc. But one very notable fact and supernatural power that he had was to bring people back from the dead. So once Saint Vincent, he was walking into a church with a corpse, so he was going to conduct the funeral. All that he did was simply put a sign of the cross on the corpse, and the man just woke up and sat in front of everyone and started speaking. So that's how he brought him back from the dead. And another very notable occasion was when Saint Vincent, he was walking on the street, and he found a man who was going to be beheaded for a very heinous crime. But Saint Vincent somehow knew that this man was innocent, and he pleaded to the officials, asking them to let him go, but they never agreed. So at that point there was another funeral happening, a funeral procession that was going on, and so Saint Vincent just called out to the corpse, and he screamed saying, "Is this man innocent?" And immediately that man just woke up from the dead, and he said yes. Everyone was astonished. Saint Vincent later on just went to the awoken man to thank him for whatever he had done. And at that time, he also said that, I would be happy to give you a reward. But that man, he just said, "No, Father, I am assured of my salvation." And he lied down and died again. How amazing it is to hear all these stories. So, we have some really amazing superheroes as saints. So next up we have Saint Denis. Saint Denis again is like a very interesting story. So Saint Denis, he was a missionary, and in those days being a missionary was super difficult because all the Christians were being persecuted. So Saint Denis, his mission was to convert the Parisians into Christianity, and of course he was beheaded for this. And what he did was he picked up his own severed head. So he picked up his head like in his hand, and he walked 6 miles. Just washed his head because apparently he did not like the blood dripping all over. So he washed his head in a spring of river. He carried his head for 6 miles, and all the while preaching. So his head was preaching the word of God. He was preaching the good news. Then later on he found a spot where he thought was good for him to die. So he just laid down and died there. And a very interesting fact about Saint Denis is Saint Denis was never remembered for all the good deeds. He was only remembered for this, where he carried his own head. And that is the reason pretty much everywhere you see, even his statues, he has his like severed head in his hand, and the head is cut off from the body, and he has his head in his hand. That's how he's pictured everywhere. Lastly, we have Saint Padre Pio. Saint Padre Pio had every power you could think of. He could bilocate, meaning he could be in different places at the same time. He could read people's mind. He could levitate. And also he could heal people. So Saint Padre Pio, he was a priest in the 20th century. And so once what happened, a mathematician, a professional mathematician, he came to Saint Padre Pio to confess his sins. So when he was confessing, this man, he knew the number of times he had committed the sin, but did not want to say that. So he just confessed his sin, and then he kept that back. He was very hesitant. And then Saint Padre Pio, he said, "You are a mathematician. You should know how to count. Go back, count the number of times you've committed the sins and come back." So without him telling anything, Saint Padre Pio could read his mind, and he knew who who was on the other side. And then another time, Saint Padre Pio, he also was attending a funeral of a monk in Wisconsin without leaving his monastery in Italy. So this is one of his very notable facts, that he could bilocate. Because of all these amazing powers, he also once told someone that he could do 3 things: pray, preach, and go around the world. So that's it for this video, my friends. I hope this video was a blessing to all of you. I was very surprised learning about these saints. I had not heard about Saint Katherine of Alexandria. That was new to me. And it was very interesting for me to read about these saints and how amazing it is to have such awesome superhero friends in heaven. Also, I wish you all a very blessed All Saints Day. And thank you again, my friends, for all the love and support that you continue to give me. And I will catch you all in my next video. Until then, my friends, take care, stay safe, and God bless.